Light, so at the top of your lungs scream, this ain't life. So when they move left, you move right, you move right. Hold my tongue never, I say what I feel. Look you in the eye, never ran, never will. Hold my own destiny, both hands no.
Well, welcome to LUDE Presents Rabbit Holes, episode number 5. I am joined by PartyJerry and Funkhauser. How you gentlemen doing?
Doing good.
Doing good, Bossman. Thanks for having us on.
Oh, very welcome. We go way back, and as I've stated before, this show is about reconnecting with friends and laughing, having a good time on the weekend, as well as making new ones. We're gonna eventually make some new friends on here, but right now we're just sharing old tales and laughing it, just like we used to do, pretty much. So.
Yeah.
If you guys are ready, we'll get started here. I'm going to let you introduce yourselves here in a little bit, but I'm going to start off with like a little monologue because I haven't really explained the show at all. And I feel like maybe it's time because, we really don't have an audience yet. So if we ever want to get an audience, I kind of have to explain what's going on here. Make it make sense.
Make it make sense.
And boy, that's a rabbit hole itself. But so, what it is, it's about, it's midlife crisis. It's about, reconnecting with friends, having fun, hearing stories, learning new things. So whether that's, stories from people's past or whether it's learning about new theories or conspiracies or just learning about, maybe the other side of things. Like we have our opinions. The show's about opinions. There's people with the opposite opinion of that. So we're going to bring them on here and we're going to talk about it,
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So just so here's a little taste of what's on the way here at LUDE Presents, okay? You guys don't know this either, so you're going to learn here too. So as you know, Mr. LUDE Jr., him and I had a little thing. He's currently suspended from the network.
I seen that. I seen him just bail out mid-show there.
It was very, very disturbing. I haven't seen anything like that in a while, and maybe he's back to his old ways. I don't know.
Yeah.
But recently we attended one of our think tanks. It's just this place where we get together and brainstorm, and we had some pretty good ideas. So I'm going to say here live on the air that Mr. LUDE Jr. could come back if he officially gets us these interviews.
Wow.
So we have 4 interviews we're working on, okay?
Wow.
Just to give you a little taste of the rabbit holes. So interview number 1 is a professional wrestler, former WWF wrestler, had his talents in and out of, the 90s. I saw a wrestling match against Yokozuna.
Now, the one you mentioned on the
it is
the Living Room Champs pod the other day.
It is. Now, I may share this gentleman with Living Room Champs. I may let Len and Mike interview him since they're a wrestling channel.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty close to getting that one wrapped up. So we have something in the works there. There's also a female wrestler that Mr. LUDE Jr. personally knows that we might bring on the show to have a little conversation with.
Nice.
So there's that we're working on. We also have a story about a lady, a very, very nice lady who's going to tell us some stories about the 70s. And she's gonna tell us how a story about her, cowboy boots, Leonard Skinnerd, and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame all fit together.
Wow.
So that's gonna be a rabbit hole.
Okay.
A lot of
stuff there.
We also have one we're working on about a professional karaoke artist who has some stories about winning houses at horse tracks. So interesting things.
Oh man. I wish I could remember the name of this guy I knew that was known for doing karaoke.
Yeah.
He exclusively did AC/DC. So you can imagine this guy's skill. It was good.
I mean, I hope we get like some belted out tunes during the show where he just hits us with these like famous lines, And that saving the best for last. I don't know if this one's going to come out or not, but there's also one we're working on about a little bit of a conspiracy.
Okay.
We have a possible alien abductee.
Oh, wow.
And they're going to tell us about how aliens prefer certain blood types.
Interesting. My older brother always said that he was abducted by aliens.
We may have to get him on here.
He could probably do that. I mean, you guys know him. You graduated with him. He's out there a little bit, but he'd probably come on.
See, part of the show is like that's why, like, our friends are part of this too, because when we're on here, we talk about all these weird topics. And like the goal is we eventually get some sort of audience
Mhm.
that someone is or knows something about that would want to come on here and it's opinion, it's laughs. Like we're not going to come on here and make fun of someone,
Right.
There may be things we laugh at and things we just find hard to believe, but
Yeah.
we'll let them explain their side of things. There's nothing wrong with that. We're willing to listen to any and all on here.
He's a big conspiracy guy. He could probably go down quite a few rabbit holes if you wanted him to.
Well, we may have to talk to him. I would love to have just insight.
Yeah.
We don't know those things. So at the very least we could listen to him and just, have fun with it. So that's a little bit about rabbit holes. So Funkhauser, PartyJerry, why don't you tell anyone that is lucky enough to listen to this? Like I said, we don't have a lot of audience yet, but we're gonna get it. So tell us about who you are and a little bit about your platform and that stuff.
Well, I'll kind of start. I will say, you keep hanging with the champs, that audience will build up pretty quickly.
Yep.
So you got the right people around you. So Matty Funkhauser, one half of the Fantasy Funkhouse with PartyJerry over there. So me and Jerry been talking for like 4, 5, 6 years, something like that, about starting, a fantasy football podcast.
Mhm.
We're all into it, all of our friends. It's definitely not just us. And there's a million fantasy podcasts out there. Anybody
right.
who's fairly serious about playing probably listens to at least a handful of them, just to kind of get different takes, different perspectives, things like that.
Different insights. Yeah.
Everybody has their favorite ones. But we are part of the Living Room Champs Network. So, we're one of the shows on there. Plenty more. I think Len and Mike started with probably the NFL show, I think was the very first one. And then
Yeah. I was
might be
lucky
the
enough to be
wrestling
on that.
shows.
Yep. I
Yeah.
was on the
Yeah.
NFL
You were
show the
just
other
on
night.
that. And great episode, by the way. I already listened to it.
Heck of a time. I do have to say, I'll interrupt your intro for hashtag other side of the ball.
Yeah, that's funny. I could barely contain myself just listening to you laugh in the background the whole time. So, I mean, Len in himself is the most opinionated human I've ever met on planet Earth, and that makes just for good content in itself. And me and him love kind of going head to head on anything you can have an opinion on. So we have a real good time with that. But we got plenty of good shows on the LRC network, and I'm sure Mike and Len will touch on those whenever they come on the Entertainment Center, their wrestling shows. And then me and Jerry will dabble into the weekly football shows that they'll do. So they do a pick 'em every week. You go through all the games. They'll pick the winners. They keep a tally of wins and losses. I assume they're doing it again this year. They did it last year. But me and Jerry do a weekly show where we had, I think, like a handful of segments last year. Burger Daddy, it's Brandon Wagner's food truck. They're our featured sponsor.
Cool.
Pretty much all over the Living Room Champs network. But we've been partnering with him for, I don't know, probably a year now. We were doing that last year on our shows. And it's been great. He's been
Good.
getting his name out there. He recently came on one of our mock drafts that we did over the summer and had some exclusive deals for the Living Room Chance listeners that would come to the food truck. So, we'll mention on here again all through the month of September. Yeah, all through the month of September. If you go to the Burger Daddy food truck and tell them the Champ sent you, you get $1 off any food item.
Awesome.
So that's a nice little thing.
Shout out to Burger Daddy.
Yeah, absolutely. Got one of the best burgers you'll ever had. There's no doubt about it.
Well, we're going to talk food later. So maybe he'll come on here one day and tell us how he does it.
Oh yeah, he will for sure.
See, that's right there, guys. Example of a rabbit hole. We bring him on here and he tells us all about the industry. People would listen to that.
But yeah, I mean, me and Jerry have hopped on various shows for the champs, and we've been going strong for almost a year now. I think we started a few weeks into the regular season last year.
Yes, we are.
And you guys,
our
you
second
have to
year.
Now that you do that, think about all the years we didn't do things like that, and now that you're doing it again, think about how much more fun you have with it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, it's great. And Jerry, you can kind of take it from there. I didn't want to take charge.
Oh no, you're good. Yeah, Party Jerry, double Jerry. I'm going Party Jerry tonight. It's Friday night. Have a couple drinks, get loose a little bit.
Yep.
Got a big day tomorrow.
Big day draft. My fantasy football drafts tomorrow. Super excited. Coming off a championship, so feeling good. Gonna be coming in real hot tomorrow. That's for sure.
I'm very, very happy to hear that. You guys are going to have a great time. A lot of old friends are going to be there. There's also some of that, though, that you're going to have to address later, Party Jerry. So I'll kind of
oh, yes. I can't wait.
I'll kind of walk you through the outline of the show here. We're going to start off with what people want to hear. They want to hear about the experts talking about fantasy football. So we're gonna start off here, give you guys some questions and Q&A session. We'll talk about some things, and towards the middle of the show, we'll talk about some rumors swirling through our league. Party Jerry has been accused of being a bad drafter. Funkhauser down on his luck. We don't know the true story. There's also some things going on with this 5-time champion. They say that he might be doing some illegal things. And there's also all the worries. Yeah, all the worries about the commissioner, though. I mean, I've got some late breaking news. I'm going to show you some things that I have straight from Schefter about the commissioner. Now, it's not confirmed, but it's very, very worrisome. I will say that. And then, after we finish up that, for anybody that doesn't want to listen or watch that stuff, they can cut to the end. We're going to do our old-fashioned rabbit holes at the end. So that'll be the fun stuff. Okay?
Love to hear it.
Sound like a plan? All right.
Absolutely.
So, I don't know if you guys heard me say, I'll put the little thing in the corner there. This is the Siete, definite competitor of the Ocho. But we're gonna start off here by giving you guys, we're gonna pepper you with just some yes or no quick answer questions that I know for one, this is going to help my draft because these are my questions, but I can imagine if I have these questions, there's other people out there with these questions. So again, Party Jerry and Funkhauser, they're just going to have opinions, but they are a much more fantasy football expert than we are. So they're going to be opinions that matter to us when we're building our draft board and taking our picks. You know what I mean? So again, you just give it a quick answer here, Funkhauser. If we want to talk about it more after, hey, look at that baby in the room. How's that?
What's up, KJ?
Welcome, baby. But yeah, so we'll give you some quick ones, and then we'll talk a little more after we do this segment. Okay?
Sure. Fire away.
Rapid fire segment. All right. Isaiah Likely, tight end Ravens. Is he worth a draft pick?
Depends on the league. He's not going to be worth anything, I don't think, unless Mark Andrews were to go down. They could run some more 12 personnel, but he's good.
Do you like tight ends?
Yeah, big tight end guys. So I'm hoarding all of them in our 14-team dynasty right now, just waiting on
a very late round flyer, maybe.
I mean, if you're a handcuff a tight end guy, but
I think it's more of like a weak fill-in type guy that if you're in a bind, you go grab him.
Or unless he starts,
he's got to watch unless he starts breaking out out of nowhere.
All right, let's go on to the next one. So guys like these guys that have always been around that have, they've always been in the first round, but they're always like, what is it worth it? So how about like guys like Joe Mixon, Leonard Fournette? Are they worth like a first round pick, early second round pick?
I think they are. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot to do about Fournette's weight coming into camp, and
like 260 or something.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, you never know what to believe. He's a huge man in general. So it's like, does it really take that much for him to drop 20 pounds, and be down to, Najee's running at 240. Henry's like 250, and everybody's like, oh, this is perfect weight for him.
So on the last episode, we touched on it, but did you guys hear that we're bringing a doctor on here to tell us about like, the real timelines on these injuries?
That'll be interesting. Yeah.
So is that ruptured appendix? Is he even going to be himself again? That
for
that
Burrow?
sort of stuff. Yep. The reason I said it on Derrick Henry was we talked. Mr. Smelko had a question about the 30-year-old.
I heard Smelko. Yeah. I'm fairly comfortable with Henry. Smelko. I'm getting ahead of myself. On all these players. Who was the one you even asked about?
I said
Mixon and
Fournette. Yeah.
Mixon and Fournette. Yeah, I mean, I think they're worth. I think Mixon's probably back into the first, and Fournette maybe end of the second, something like that. I mean, everybody in the Bucs relies on Brady, so if his little absence is anything to be taken seriously, and I don't think it is, I have no issue with him stepping away.
He was out dancing. He was out dancing,
allegedly singing with a mask on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
all right, let's go. We'll keep this one quick. All right. Their draft positions are a little different, but in the end, who do you think is going to have a higher total, Kyle Pitts or George Kittle?
Pitts.
Go ahead, Jerry. Yeah, Pitts. I'd say probably Pitts.
All right, and I'm good. You guys are good just to keep them quick like that. That way we can keep going. Michael Thomas, is he going to be himself?
What does himself mean?
Is he going to be a top tier wide receiver once he comes back?
I think he'll be a wide receiver too.
Okay. All right.
Safe bet.
AJ Dillon with Aaron Jones in Green Bay. Is he going to get just short line touches or short goal line touches, or is he going to be, an RB2?
I think he'll be an RB2. I think he gets enough work because I think they'll split Aaron Jones out in kind of like a slot guy sometimes, put him out wide
or something.
Yeah, I just think they're going to run the shit out of the ball.
Yeah, I think they'll use both of them with all their young receivers.
This one here this is going to be a funk special here. I had Chase Edmonds written down, and he was on Arizona, and I never really knew much about him. Is he the lead back in Miami?
Yeah, he is the lead back. I mean, with McDaniel, and I don't want to get too wordy, but with McDaniel, I don't think he's going to run the exact same offense as Shanahan. But from the Shanahan tree, running backs are, next man up, plug and play. But Chase has a huge skill set, a very broad skill set, rather. So he can do a lot of things. I think that's why they like him. The guys behind him don't give too much competition, in my opinion. I mean, Mostert was a flash in the pan. Sony had some good reps, but I like Chase. Yeah.
Okay. So staying with the Dolphins, I wrote down 2 Alabama guys. In the end, who's better, Waddle or Devontae Smith?
I think Waddle. I mean, call me a little biased. That's fine. I like Devontae too, but
Jerry,
I think Waddle is.
I'll take Waddle too.
Yeah, okay. I think Waddle's head and shoulders above Devontae Smith right now.
Is it more to do with? Well, I mean, Tua too. Is it more to do with the quarterback or the offense, or is it just Waddle's a better player?
I think Waddle's a better player because I think he's playing with a worse quarterback.
Yeah, I agree. I think Waddle's just better.
Is Devin Singletary worth rostering in Buffalo, or is he just going to get passed up by the rookie?
He's a bust.
I disagree. I think they play different positions. They're both running backs, but people are kind of talking up Zach Moss again, which they'd like to do this every year with either Moss or Singletary. But now you got Cook in there. Cook's going to be involved. I think it'll take a while, but I still think Singletary's the lead back and probably the best offense in the league.
All right, rookie wide receiver, Olave or Wilson? Jets Saints.
Go ahead, Jerry. Olave for sure.
Is that because Thomas is out, or is that because the Jets can't do anything?
Jets are terrible. Yeah, I think the Saints are going to be better than people think, and I think Olave is really good. I just took him in a draft last night in a dynasty league.
Yeah.
What about the running back Pierce from the Texans? Rookie, he's going to be the starter, right?
Yeah. Obviously, he's going to be worth, I don't know, probably an RB3 right now. I think people are probably a little bit too hyped up on him.
Everyone's trying to jump on him as a sleeper.
Yeah. I mean, if you think he's a sleeper now, you probably haven't been paying attention. He might have been a sleeper, a month ago, but now with the performance he put on and, if you pay attention to the media at all, he's the second coming of Christ for running backs. So
did you hear the little rabbit hole we went down about Davis Mills' neck?
Oh, he got a great long neck.
The long neck.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of wide necks myself.
Yeah.
Who's a good wide neck
in NFL? Where their neck is wider than their, if you can see right now, my jaw is much wider than my neck. These guys, the opposite, their necks are out here.
Wide neck.
Very impressive. Pause Lesney.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, we're almost wrapped up here, but I guess one other one. This is going to strike home to the commissioner. So they have that rookie wide receiver for the Cowboys, Tolbert.
Yeah.
Is he going to end up passing Gallup? Is Gallup a bust too? Because I feel like we always talk about Gallup.
I think Gallup's a great player, but he's hurt. No guarantees when he'll be back. Probably week 3-ish, I'm thinking. I like Tolbert. Again, I just got him in that Dynasty League last night. Sniped him right in front of Nate, but Nate already has CD and Gallup, so he was probably looking for all three.
Yep.
But I like Tolbert. Gallup's tricky because coming off an ACL, you never know. He hasn't really been doing much yet, but I think that he's probably had more explosive plays in his career so far than CD has. All
right, so we'll move on here. We talked about on Living Room Champs, we talked about Travis Etienne, and I haven't confirmed it. So is he going to be like a potential rookie of the year because he didn't play at all last year?
I don't think he'd qualify for a rookie of the year because he's not a rookie. He hasn't played.
I just didn't know.
That's the one thing about rookie of the year is you actually have to be a rookie to get it.
It's this weird thing,
Well, I didn't know if they would make an exception for that. So put it that way, if he were qualifying for rookie of the year, is he going to be that good this year?
Red shirt rookie of the year. They might make a new award just for him.
I think he could certainly have a good year. It's how much faith do you have in the Jaguars, I guess.
Yeah,
if you're Len, a lot. Len has a lot.
Well, he'll do that every year, like I don't know. I'm getting a little more chilly on ETN as the days go by. I don't know. Very good reports about James Robinson, and I just have no faith in the Jags. I don't know. It's just I like ETN and his skill set and everything, but
with reason.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I think he'll be overdrafted.
So something we touched on the last episode, but I just want to get your guys' opinion. Is no running back, is that like something you go into the draft with, or is that something that, if there's nothing available there, you go no running back?
Again, it depends on your league format and things like that. So like in the Sanctuary League, I'm not a big running back guy. A lot of the Sanctuary members are on record as not being big running back guys, but they still get drafted. You don't want to take too many of them because you can just you can just cap your upside, I think, with your team. But yeah, I mean, it all depends on who falls to you.
Depends where you're at in the draft, how it falls, if
who you drafted the round before. There's so many variables.
If you're forced into wide receiver, I mean, you can go into a draft having that plan, but
I think are either of you going into your drafts no running back?
Personally,
are you going in tomorrow?
I don't think it's good to go into a draft at any point and say, okay, this is what I'm going to try to do, because you have no idea. Well, most leagues, like Double League tomorrow, tell them about how we're determining draft picks, Jerry. Let's start there.
Yeah, so we'll be having there'll be a 10-minute time limit, and you'll be given one piece of paper, and you have to make a paper airplane.
Oh my goodness!
And
sounds like a team building event.
And we will have a contest, a paper airplane contest, and whoever throws it the furthest gets their first pick of 1 through 12, whatever they want, and so on. So
I like it.
Yeah. So
we're going to be picking draft picks for the Sanctuary here tonight, so I got something lined up for that too.
Oh yeah, is Nate going to be all right with that?
So unfortunately, the commissioner, he's just MIA, and I think what I have will kind of explain that a little bit more.
Oh gee,
but again, we'll get to there. We'll get to there.
Yeah. I mean, as far as like draft strategies go, if you know what pick you have, maybe it might be a little easier to think like, if this guy might be there, this guy might be there at my 8 pick, or this might be here at 12, then I could take these guys back to back. So until you know where you're drafting, you're not really going to have an idea of who's going to be available, depending on where you're at in 1 through 10, 1 through 12, whatever league you're in. And then in the second round on the way back, there's no telling who's going to fall to you. So everything's all about value. You know, we don't hate drafting any players. We just hate certain values associated with them in ADPs. So I'll draft anybody if they're a good deal.
All right. I like it. That's words of wisdom here by the experts, sir. Words of wisdom. So, you know, if you heard the Smelko episode, he would not give us any of his sleepers. So I don't expect you guys to give me your top sleeper or even your top 3 sleepers. But if you have a list of like 10 sleepers, give me a sleeper or 2 that you have your eye on.
Yeah, see, and that's something where we tried to get Nate on our pod to do a mock, and he refused, and then said, why would I draft with you guys? Then you'll know who I want. Personally, you know, how I've always played fantasy is that I know who I like because I pay attention to the research. I'm assuming everybody else in the league does as well. So me saying like I would never talk about football with you because I know who's good and you probably don't is just very disrespectful. And I'm not saying that's what Judd did, but that's certainly what Nate did when we tried to get him on the pod.
Well, I would say that is what Smelko did, and that is what the commissioner's doing. It is. There's no getting around it.
It's embarrassing, really.
It's just I like to talk about football, so
it's a black eye for the league. It's a black eye for the league, and you know, after we see the news out there, there maybe something has to be done. This guy is just out of control. He's living on the edge, and it's scary. It's scary that he has our league in his hands. You know,
it is scary.
It is. So back to the sleepers. You going to give us one?
Back to the sleepers. What position you want? I'll give you one.
I mean, any position. So it doesn't even necessarily have to be a sleeper. How about we say it this way? It's a guy that's average draft position is anywhere from like the 4th to 8th round that you know, if he's there, you would look at him.
I mean, I'll go even a little deeper than that. And we just talked about
let's get deep.
Jalen Tolbert. I like Jalen Tolbert a lot. I think he's definitely worth a draft pick, and he's going to be the wide receiver 2 on Dallas until Gallup gets back, and you never know when that is. And I don't think they're going to be very good. They just lost Tyron Smith. He tore his hamstring off the bone. So he went to Shop and Save, went up to the counter, said, "Give me 2 pounds of ham off the bone." And that sounds painful as shit. So he won't be back until like late December. Dak's going to be running for his life. That line is crumbled. Zach Martin's the only one there that could block anybody. So I think, you know, with that said, Zeke's, I think that's it. I mean, for me anyway.
Ever since Dak came back from the leg injury, has he still gotten like a lot of rushing touchdowns and stuff?
He's gotten a few. He's never had what do you have? 666, I think, his first 3 years. I don't remember what he had last year. I think it was less than that, but McCarthy did say he's going to run quite a bit more this year. So, I mean, that's good for his outlook fantasy wise, but they got a lot of good playmakers, but the reason they've been so productive, and I think they were the highest scoring offense in the league last year, was because of their line, and it's just non-existent anymore.
Well, I mean, I like that pick because that's why I brought up Tolbert. I think Gallup will come back, but I think he'll never reclaim his spot. I think Gallup will be the wide receiver too. So
I think there's
I'm with you there.
I think there's room for all 3 of them and Schultz and the running backs there.
Yeah.
Jerry, what do you got? Who's your guy, Jerry?
There's all kinds of guys. I do like a lot of the rookie wide receivers. The guy we mentioned earlier, Olave, I think he could be a sleeper.
Yeah.
Even like someone like Kadarius Toney, where he's going in drafts, he could give you some real value. He did, you know, he did a lot as a rookie.
Jerry, did you see the footage of Galladay trying to run routes in practice?
I did. He
looks like a 70-year-old man. He could barely move.
He might get
it
cut.
looked so bad.
Oh, he's totally done. It's so comical to me that they're even going through the motions of like, oh yeah, you're still on the team. We're not just going to give you all this money and then you go away. Like they don't even want him there. They're just stuck because they gave him $60 million.
He doesn't look like he wants to be there either. He's not giving any effort.
He's horrible. And Tony's hurt. And I like Tony too, but he's hurt right now. You know, he can't practice at all. So we'll see. That rookie, Nate got that rookie Wandale Robinson.
Yeah.
I think he'll be heavily involved, but he's so little. He's like 5'7", 185.
I'm gonna come out and say it. I think Barkley's back this year. I really think.
Oh yeah, it's a great one. I seen him give some interview the other day. He was pissed off, and it got me fired up.
People are dogging him. Yep.
He's like, yeah, you want to act like I'm out? We'll see. So,
in best ball leagues, I was getting him in like the 4th round a couple months ago, and now he's I don't know, early 2nd. He'll be in the 1st round, tomorrow morning.
Yeah. Have you done a lot of those? I know Smelko said he's done about 500 of them.
I have actually. I haven't done 500, but I've done quite a few. I stumbled into it last year because I wanted to bet on the NFL draft, and I got something that just came across my desk here. Breaking news.
What do you got?
Trevor Penning, Saints 1st round offensive lineman, was just carted off the field.
Wow,
so
that's big.
He was going to be a major contributor, I think, right away. So let's keep that in mind. That's just a little nugget.
That's gonna be big for who? Like Kamara and the receivers, because it's gonna hurt the quarterback.
Yeah, I think so. And like I said, he would have contributed right away. So
big news there, Funkhauser. You heard it here first, folks.
Fresh off the
here on the Siete, Funkhauser with breaking news. Be on the lookout. He's gonna have more stuff coming to the show, more stuff on his network. So just pay attention, folks.
When I get a text, I know it's one of my sources, just delivering something real spicy.
All right. So I only got one more thing written down here, and then I'll kind of open it up to you guys before we go into our league. Do you guys have somebody that I'm not going to say, like you said, it's not that you wouldn't draft them, but, maybe a guy that's going in the 1st round that you wouldn't take until the 3rd if he's there, or something like that. Somebody, if they fell, you would take them, but you're not going to take them where they're going.
Zeke.
Okay. Oh, all right.
For sure.
You think that's something to do with the line then?
Yeah, mostly him breaking down.
Okay.
I think Jerry will force feed him because they gave him all that money, but he's a shell of, what he was 2 years ago.
How old is he
I don't
now?
think he's going to be terrible, but he's only like 27, but he's still a running back.
The age life or the shelf life of running backs, like it's not
heavy wear.
Really a
lot of miles on him.
Did you see the video of Jameis Winston going through the tackling drill or whatever? You know how they have the machine that has all the dummies on it, and the running backs carry the ball and go through it? Jameis Winston only made it halfway through and fell down.
No, I didn't see that. I gotta look that up. That's funny.
Yeah, it's funny. Jerry, who do you got? Who's your overrated player that you could still pick, but you wouldn't pick him where he's going?
That's tough. Maybe someone like Cam Akers.
Yeah, I wonder about that guy. Yeah, I don't know about that guy. He is the starter, right?
I think
allegedly.
I don't know. I mean, he was hurt obviously most of all last year. He played in the Super Bowl? And
I don't even know. He didn't do anything if he did.
He looked horrible.
He played through the playoffs. He looked horrible. And he was playing against good defensive, running defenses, but he still looked horrible. But
he had really low average. But I mean, he's just coming off an injury too. But I don't know why. I'm just not a huge Cam guy. So
Akers and Zeke are going in similar spots in those best ball drafts. Oh yeah, I was talking about the best ball draft. So I wanted to bet on the NFL draft last year. So I put money into this Underdog app. And then I get in there, and you can't bet on the app. And I thought it was just like a FanDuel thing because it was you put in $100, you get $100 free. So I was like, oh fuck yeah! So I get in there, and it's pick'ems for NBA guys game to game. And then I was like, fuck, I can put all this money in here, and now I don't even have to bet what I want to bet on. And then I tried to play the pick'ems where it's who will score more points, Steph Curry or Giannis. And I try to bet on that, and it says Pennsylvania doesn't allow you to bet on pick'ems. I'm like, oh. So then I just waited till football season came around, and really probably May or June, the best ball league started showing up. So they're fun.
I mean,
that
money's just burning up in there. You got to use it, right? I mean,
you got to use it, So I had $200 to burn that year on those, so I entered a ton of them. Like Smelko was saying. I think it's called Best Ball Mania. It's $25, and the highest score wins $1 million. First place wins $2 million. Second place wins $1 million.
Did
you go down from there?
Did you get any winnings out of it?
Last year I didn't. No, and I probably put 4 teams in it this year. So we'll see how that goes. But they got little ones too. You can get in for like $3, $5.
So what,
$10.
you don't know, when do you know if you win? The end of the year, or how's that work?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, because it's like
All right.
so basically best ball is like he was saying, you draft your team, it'll make the best lineup possible for you. There's no waivers, there's no trades, there's no in-season management at all. You just draft and let it go. And then when they have those big tournaments like that, they break you up into leagues of 12. And then after like 10 weeks or something, I don't know what it is, something like that, the top 2 or 3 out of that league will move on to the next round. And then it'll go like another 2 weeks, and then the top however many out of that round will advance and things like that.
Sounds fun.
Makes sense. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are going to learn about it by watching this, because I had never even heard about it, to be honest, and now we know a little bit about it.
It's been a thing for, I don't know,
sure. I don't know if
3 or 4 years, 5 years, something like that now. Yeah, it's fun.
Okay.
It's fun just to draft. I mean, that's the funnest part, right?
Yeah, you get practice drafting. I mean,
different strategy though, because you want those peak players, those guys that they're not going to give you 10 points a week. They'll give you 2 points a week, and then they'll hit a spike week of 18 or 25. You know what I mean?
More upside guys.
Yeah.
So before we kind of move on, do you guys have anything else you want to touch on before we leave fantasy? Well, not leave fantasy football, but just leave, for our potential audience, the information that they need.
I mean, I think you could learn a lot on the Fantasy Funkhouse. So, check us out wherever you get your pods on the, search Living Room Champs. They'll have a variety of shows. You can go through and find the Fantasy Funkhouse. We did a few mock drafts this summer, a few ranking shows, a lot of good content over there. Okay.
All right. Well, myself, the audience, we appreciate that valuable information, gentlemen. So now, we're gonna do the cream filling of the Oreo here. We're gonna talk about our league. So anybody that wants to bypass this, I would say fast forward 5 to 10 minutes down the road here. Well, with rabbit holes, I don't know how long it's gonna be, but
the people want to hear it. There's no bypassing.
So just look for the top right, the siete at the top right there. It'll change once we leave here, so that's when you know. But let's start off with our last interview with Mr. Smelko. He's won the championship 5 out of 7 years. He also hinted around that him and the commissioner may have some sort of deal. What do you think's going on with this guy? What's going on? How does he won 5 times, second place once? What's going on with this gentleman?
I'll tell you, the way he's won a few times was because the commish, once again, didn't know how to run a keeper league. And Smelko got someone like Kamara in the 15th round and got to keep him there for the next 3 years.
That was
when he was a first round pick.
Juju too. He had both Juju and Kamara at the bottom of his draft.
Yeah, I forgot about
that. But I mean, those are great picks. You know what I mean? Like those.
They were.
That's how you win keeper leagues. Is you get to keep guys for cheap and then draft other good players at your early round picks. Mm-hmm. So again, like. That's why he won, but you still got to draft the rest of your team.
Smelko puts the work in. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, he does. I mean, obviously, the results speak for themselves.
But I will say how he said that I was not in it for the past however many years. I've really triggered me because I've made the playoffs since I've joined the league, except for 1 year. I sent the stats out the other day for people to see. 2 5th places, 2 4th places, a 3rd, and another 5th. Okay? So don't tell me I haven't been in it.
So what about the rumors that are out there that you have an anxiety problem? You're ready for the draft, you prepare, but when it gets to draft day, you just can't seem to get the job done. A thing we talk about here a lot on the rabbit holes, you just can't finish. You just can't finish, Party Jerry. What do you have to say to that?
Well, I'll say I mean, I have a trophy sitting downstairs that I'm coming off a championship last year. Obviously not in this league, but mine. But I will say that the online drafts are a different animal. When you're under the gun and that clock's ticking in your face,
right?
It's difficult, and you can panic, you can tweak, the anxiety can creep its way in.
Well, that's why, like you said about I don't like them either. And that's why I'm trying to get the commissioner to agree to something like this, where the 3 of us can be joined by the rest of the league participants. we will kind of moderate the draft. And as picks are made, we can go to interviews and ask them what they're thinking, what's going on, those sort of things. And for the people that don't want to participate, that's fine. We can figure something out. But like we could do it right here, that way we, like you said, it's more of a friendly confine and we have fun with it. And it's not the 9 o'clock at night Yahoo draft and then you go to bed and it's over with type of thing.
Right. You gotta do something to keep everyone involved, make it people want to be more involved then,
because that's
I mean, nothing almost a live draft.
Yeah, well, that's right.
You can't beat
the live draft is the best. I will.
Yeah, it doesn't even compare.
I think this was before Jerry, probably Smelko as well, joined the league, but we drafted. It was in DuBois. I can't remember whose house it was at.
Give me something. I might remember it.
Maybe Mackenzie's house. Mackenzie was still in the league, I think.
Okay. Yeah, he was in
but we were drafting there. We were doing a live draft, and somebody couldn't make it. Somebody was late or something like that. So we had some random guy step in to draft
Big
for him.
Ben or something. Yeah.
And he had the first round pick. He had a first round pick, and the guy was wearing Lion stuff. And he's like, "Well, Matthew Stafford, obviously."
Yeah. And then it became like a fight.
That guy was, or
yeah. It was a fight because he picked it. We're like, no, you can't pick him first.
Yeah, everybody's like, okay, well, we're starting to draft over then. Like, this, you just fucking ruined the whole thing.
We went to a different room or something. Yeah, that's where it was.
I'll draft for him, Matthew Stafford. It was like round 1, pick 3 or something like that. Like, what the fuck, man?
Just completely clueless. I've been in like work leagues where something like that'll happen. Like first,
this guy wasn't even in the league. He was drafting for somebody that was like on their way.
Creed. I think Creed Branner couldn't make it, so that's why I remember him having that really bad pick in the beginning.
Sounds like Creed Bratton was drafting the team.
Yep. So yeah, that's funny. Good stuff. So how about your rumors about your? Well, it's not. I mean, I don't know if it's called a rumor, but just down on your luck. Just, you're the expert, all the things, but you've only been able to finish the job once in the league's history.
Down on my luck. I mean, I don't think that's, especially in Jared's league. I had one of the best teams in league history in 2016 and mopped up, Chocolate Boy Sigler in the finals. And I beat him pretty bad. And he was undefeated that year.
Last year. Nothing like it.
And Nate's like LeBron, just crumbles in the finals. He really does. But I'm down on my luck a little bit. It's going to be a big comeback year for me. I think. Pretty confident heading into the year.
Okay, good.
Fantasy is, 60% luck at least. Mostly injuries. I don't know. It's. No matter how much research you do and everything, it's the mid-season management, I think, that will win you a league. It's not going to be the draft. So you can draft as well as you want.
I agree.
Do you think that with all of your knowledge, do you put too much thought into it? Are you too active through the year? Is that?
I'll tell you this for sure, is that I talk myself out of weekly starts. That's the big one.
Yeah.
I think I'm very good at picking up, potential breakouts on waivers or guys that have already broken out and somehow they're still there. But the week to week in my own head of thinking like this guy back and forth, just tweak to the extreme.
What else? I mean, both of you guys, this could be something too. You're both in so many leagues. Do you think you have so many players and so many different leagues and so many types of leagues and so many lineups? That could be part of it too. You can't focus.
No, I think that makes it more fun. I love it.
I manage just fine. Okay.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I mean, and I think probably a lot of people struggle with that, week to week stardom sit-em thing. And I think that
it's the never ending dilemma.
The better team you have, the better you draft, the better you are at picking up free agents, the better team you have, the harder those decisions will be. So, I mean, if you had a shitty team and it's like, oh, these are the only guys I can start, and it's easy.
Yeah, you're forced into a lineup, when you have guys that are on your team that are basically unplayable or injured or whatever it may
Injury
be.
luck's been rough for me, but I did win Sanctuary in 2020, which was the year of our Lord and COVID-19. So
it was a down year. That was a year It was a down year because, that was one of the years where it almost ended. We're trying to bring life back into the league. 2020 was a down year, Funkhauser.
Yeah, it was.
Down.
It was. Well, I did my part to, bring home the gold.
So, do you guys, like in any of your leagues, like does last place have a punishment?
So in the league that I run with Bub Zedak, we've been going for almost as long as Dub League, almost as probably right around the same as the Sanctuary. What's it, 11, 12 years now?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, because I think my first title in Sanctuary was like 2011. So this will be, and I think it came in a year after you guys started it.
Okay. But I mean, like, what do you guys do for last place?
So we've always discussed punishments, and then we have them, and then the people never do them. And then it gets to the point of like disciplining the people that don't fulfill the punishment. And then everybody is a pussy about it. So I get really pissed, and I'm just like, well, let's not even then, because we're just going to talk about it all year and nobody's going to do anything. And then everybody will be a bitch about it, because in my mind, like, okay, you don't do the punishment, and it's nothing like a tattoo. It's nothing crazy like that. But if you don't do it, you lose like a third round draft pick or something drastic to where it's not going to like ruin you, but it's like, you deserve it. Like, it's
I'm
not
going to talk
that much.
I'm going to ask PartyJerry next, but Funkhauser, I'm going to give you this opportunity right here, right now. Is there someone that you're referencing that you would like to call out live on air that always fails to do that punishment?
Several people. Number one, Jim. This year, and we made it so easy, every year. It was just plan the after year party, because usually we'll just all get together after the finals, exchange the championship belt, which is our trophy, and have a good time, have a couple drinks, have some appetizers, and just kind of reflect on the year, have a good time. And that group of friends, we don't get together that often anymore, so it's nice to do that. And all you had to do was plan the party this year. You didn't have to shell out a bunch of money. You didn't have to do anything. You literally just had to plan the party, get everybody's available dates, and put it together. And he didn't do it until late July, because we guilt tripped him into it. So finally, late July, he did it. And basically he sends something to the group, be like, hey, when's everybody available? And then everybody will say it, and then you don't hear anything for a month. You're like, what? Supposed to happen in January and February. Well, I mean, in my position, like, if I would have won the league, and because Jimmy won last year, actually, give me the belt. I won the belt. I won it in my possession. He didn't get it until July. What's the point? You draft in August.
Well, I think that has something to do with, if you remember correctly.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah. Do you remember when Washers, we held the Washers trophy within our group of friends for a long time, and then that one year, those outsiders came in and took the trophy, and it was controversy. Did not give away the trophy. Like, during the celebration and the trophy presentation, there was just demoralizing looks on every person's face in the crowd. Just couldn't take it.
And then Whitey won 2 years in a row.
2 years in a row. And I will say, like, this is a total rabbit hole, but like, if we ever were, don't get me wrong, I know the chances are slim, and if nothing else, this is a fun place to hang out. But if we ever were to get anywhere with either of these podcasts or whatever, I want to do like a live Washers thing and do like a reunion where we do Washers again, where it's what it once was, not like the last couple of years, but like what it could have been, with the pig, people eating a live pig out of the box and all that stuff.
We'll have to rent out
yeah, we could do that
right by the lake again,
with the dam, and we had all the dam sitters up top, all those dam sitters.
Rick.
All right, but Jerry, do you guys do anything for last place in Dub League?
No. Years ago, I used to give out like a last place trophy. It was just a toilet bowl little thing, but I even quit doing that many years ago.
A couple years that we did have people that fulfilled their punishment obligations.
Oh yeah, we did do the keg. You had to buy the keg the next year.
Yeah, and that's a good one. Yeah,
so that's what Smoko said, like a monetary thing.
Yeah, 1 year in the league that I run with Bub, you had to make a calendar, like a real risque calendar of yourself with, pictures, and that was funny. So
I like that.
in
That's
theory, what
funny.
we wanted, and I'm sure that wasn't an original idea. I'm sure we bit that off somewhere, but I think the idea was to go get like professional pictures taken in, scantily clad
That'd be
negligee
funny.
and whatnot. So
All right. Well, good luck in your draft tomorrow, gentlemen. I wish you the best of luck there.
I'm
And now
excited, nervous.
we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on first to the commissioner. As I had kind of hinted around at, he's under investigation.
Yeah.
A lot of rumors swirling.
How
Nobody
big is
knows.
that dossier you have on him?
Well, I got a clip. I have a clip. I'm going to share it here with you guys and with the audience. I'll let you make your own impression of the clip, but this would explain a lot.
All right.
So as you guys know, the commissioner is a big fan of Audi vehicles.
Yeah.
He loves his Audi. He once
Ever get
said
behind
in a
a brand new
bar,
Audi?
I overheard a comment to someone, "Have you ever blanked in an Audi?" I mean, I don't want to let you guys figure out what blank is, let the audience, but he said, "Do you want to blank in an Audi?" Well, a rumor has it, Schefter's telling me, he went to the Audi dealership for a service. They put him in a loaner vehicle, in a Volkswagen loaner vehicle, at Audi. And there's video of him that night, and I'm going to share it here with you guys right now. He's under investigation. Only he can answer for this. I mean, he's going to have to give some sort of statement. We'll see if we can get anything from him. But this is live video of the commissioner from a Tuesday night. Well, only he can answer that because numerous possibilities out there. There's numerous.
He came in
Deshaun
like he really
Ziegler.
owned the place
So
there.
we'll let him talk for himself.
Deshaun Ziegler goes to the spa. Okay.
He likes
Looks
to
like
make
he
his own
really
rules,
wanted
and
massage.
now we're dealing with that. So troublesome.
surprise
He's in
me.
charge of our league. He is in charge.
Can't say that I'm surprised. Yeah, and Smelko had a good question.
Just seeing what the league became, it really makes my heart hurt, because it was once a place for camaraderie, friendship, friendly banter, just a fun place. You wanted to go to that chat room, see what people were talking about, good laughs, and it just became a dark, hostile place. It really did, and I'm trying to change that. I want it. It did. I want it to be fun again, and that's what we're trying to do here. I mean, he's gonna have to answer for that. That's
still left.
There is.
I like
There
how
is.
it's
And I
interesting
hope
now you're taking the kind of lead role to revive this league. It's almost
exactly, isn't that? And
the
as you guys have
hands
stated,
off.
you tried to have him on the show. I've tried to have him on the show. So it's like we're taking it in our own hands. So you got to ask yourself, is he still the commissioner? I don't know. I truly don't know.
He still
Because
thinks he's president. He still thinks he's
You know-
president of the Dub League Players Association, and I think Mr. Davey Bukaki has a thing or two to say about that. So we'll be finding that out tomorrow.
You know how easy it would be to add one person to our league and bring those people on here, have our own draft, set up our own fantasy league on Yahoo, and just kick him out. I mean, we could do that. We could do that. I mean, I almost want to let him, step on here and defend his reign of terror, as I like to call it. It's similar to some of the, leaderships across the world that you see that just don't end well. But only he can speak for him. I mean, there's got to be some sort of saying for that, but only he can answer.
He's got a lot. Yeah, he's got a lot.
He's got a lot to kind of come clean and apologize for, and I don't see him doing it anytime soon.
Well, hopefully he watches this because we don't even know if he listens to your show or watches this.
He won't. He won't. He said he doesn't listen to our show, and then we were talking about getting him on the pod, and he's like, I wouldn't tell you the guys I want to draft. And then Jerry said something about like, oh, you don't even know who we want to draft. And he's like, yeah, I listen to your podcast. And I was like,
you know what I was thinking? You know what I was thinking? If he doesn't want to be on here, you know who we can go to? His
Julie.
spouse.
Yeah.
His
She
spouse
would
would
get
come on
on.
here.
Yeah,
And she would tell us all about this guy.
Yeah.
That'd
She'd
be
give
then
away
I
all
feel-
the secrets.
At that point, he has no option but to save face. Because if he doesn't come on at that point, then he looks really bad. He looks really scummy, really terrible. Just, I don't even want to think about that possibility. All right. Without further ado, that's going to wrap up fantasy football. So if you guys are ready, all the other outsiders can come on here now and listen to our nonsense in the rabbit holes. Sound good?
Yeah.
Yep. Come on back.
So start off here with like a little question I like to ask everyone when they come on. So if you were to have like a sign behind you and it was a sponsor for you and it was I know we talked about Burger Daddy earlier. Shout out Burger Daddy. Shout out Living Room Champs. LUDE presents.
Shout out
Funkhouse.
Napoli's Pizza.
Hey, I don't know if they left it at the end, but if Napoli's doesn't join the team, we might take over because we talked about bringing some different eateries right there to that plaza. Maybe buying the whole plaza, putting in some Five Guys, stuff like that. So, join or get out.
Get out of the way, yeah.
But yeah, so who would be your sponsor in the back of there? And then if this show ever gets anywhere, nobody's gonna probably see this episode, but maybe they'll go back and watch the old ones. And if that company sees this, they'll be like, hey, LUDE, here you go. And I'll be like, hey, I'll make that deal, but I want something for Funkhauser too. Who's that sponsor?
The one for me that comes to mind right away would be Dude. So like Dude wipes. What do you think about that? So I used to use Dude wipes exclusively, butt wipes. They got the menthol chill one, but over the pandemic, I invested in a Dude bidet, and it is a life-changing device. So if you've never used a bidet, you have a dirty ass. There's no other way to put it. So I love my Dude. Yeah, I love my Dude bidet, and I bought one for like every member of my family for Christmas that year. So,
what do they run?
I think they're somewhere around $90. They might be down around like, I don't know, 60, 70 now. It was $99.99 when they first came out, and then I got like a COVID discount, so I got it for like $60. But everybody was running out buying toilet paper, which I still don't understand. Like, did you think you were just gonna have the shits all day? Or
I don't get why they were like stacking their cars with toilet paper, taping it to the roofs of their cars. Like, what's gonna happen?
I don't get it. Why is that your your critical item in the time of need?
I don't know. I'd be worried about
worst case scenario, you run out of toilet paper. I mean, there's things you could do to figure it out. I mean, you don't have to have 2,500 rolls.
You could just get in the shower. I mean,
anything, yeah.
So I mean,
that'd be the first one that comes to mind for me.
I like it because not only does Dude rhyme with LUDE, but also I could see like a toilet seat behind you with some neon lights. A lot of possibilities there.
That could be my pod chair.
God, I love that actually, Funkhauser. I love it. Jerry, what do you got? Who would be your sponsor if you could have anyone on a sign there behind you?
That's tough, man. I don't know.
And what could be like a food you eat, or I mean, you can come. We'll hit it on a rabbit hole. You can be like, that's my sponsor.
Yeah.
What about Funkhauser? I know you like to cook. What kind of? So I don't know if you've heard me talk about this, but I'm putting together like a. Again, forgive me for sounding too positive here, but like if this podcast ever goes anywhere, I want to make a LUDE cookbook. So like, give me something I can put in the LUDE cookbook. You too, Jerry, if you have one.
That's a good question. So like I want to say 2 or 3 years ago for my mom's birthday, I took all of her old ass recipe books, like torn up, coffee stained, like shit from 70s, 80s, 90s, and then little clippings that she would save here and there. And everybody's mom's got that drawer full of like bullshit recipes and shit written down and all that stuff. And I put it in a spiral notebook, like real nice. And she loved it. You know what I mean? It's like the best birthday present she's ever gotten. And it's got all the stuff that, I've been eating all my life. Along with things that kind of I started making. And then I took things from my friends here and there. And it's, there's a lot of stuff in there. My favorite things that she would make when I was a kid, and I love these things, and they're pizza burgers, but they're pizza burgers not in a traditional sense of like a hamburger with mozzarella and sauce on it. It's like a ground up sloppy Joe mixture. It's like ground beef, and then I think there's ground up like bologna in it, believe it or not, which gives it a very, I don't know, it changes the flavor. And then there's cheese, sauce, obviously, and like oregano, pizza.
Sounds
spicy.
very depressionish era.
It's
Depression.
very
sounds
Midwest,
poor, kind of,
like
but-
comfort food for sure.
Yeah.
Nothing fancy, nothing special. And then you put
You
it
really
on,
got
like,
some fillers in there to give you some more.
oh yeah, it'll definitely keep
So-
your ribs warm on a cold day.
Rabbit hole. What is in bologna?
Just processed beef and pork. I mean, meat is meat.
it-
People bitch about like, I don't eat sausage. It's got face meat in it and shit like that. Like, if it's meat, I don't care, if it comes from the
So-
cheek. The cheek on a cow or a fish is like the best bite of meat on an animal. So like, yeah, it's ground up. It's not the best cuts. It's not like it's any worse for you than any other part of the animal.
I guess when you say that, like, is meat like cartilage tendons? Is that meat?
No, I wouldn't say that's meat.
So when you get that stuff in the meat, that's like in air. That's like in the processing. They left
Yes.
something. Okay. All right.
Unless you're eating like, there's certain food where tendon and like tripe, which is like intestine or something like that, where it's supposed to be there, like chitlins or a delicacy like that, then yeah, it's supposed to be there. And you got some piece of mystery shit in there, like, no, it's
how
not
nasty
supposed
would
to
that
there.
be?
Yeah.
Taking a bite into a hot dog and pulling
I hate
something
that.
out.
Probably
hate
in like
that.
April, I got chicken fries from Burger King and a huge piece of bone in it. And it
Ugh.
grossed me out so bad I don't want to eat like chicken nuggets from anywhere for like a
Chicken
long
nuggets.
time.
Chicken nuggets scare me. I like chicken tenders, but chicken nuggets scare me. They do.
It depends on which one. Like, I like Wendy's, but like McDonald's are gross. And I think
Wendy's.
Burger King now are gross. I'd much rather
I don't
have
know.
Tendies. Yeah.
I don't know how you guys feel about this, but like when I was asked the other day what my favorite fast food restaurant is, I went with Wendy's.
It depends on what fast food you mean. Like, because there's like Shake Shack is unbelievable and it's like gourmet. Shake Shack's unbelievable.
Well, you
But
can
is
get like
that
a
what
4
you
for
can you
4.
get?
Yeah,
You can't get that anywhere,
you go around the window, you get a 4 for 4. I think that's fast food.
Well, Wendy's, yeah, but I mean like
No, Steak Shack has. They don't call it that.
no, not
They have,
Steak and
like,
Shake, not Steak and Shake, Shake Shack.
Oh,
It's
no,
different.
Shake Shack. That's not fast food. No.
Right. So like that. I don't know, I'd have to see a list of what would be categorized, but I love Wendy's.
We're talking Wendy's, Arby's, Burger King, McDonald's.
I'm a big fan
Taco
of
Bell.
Wendy's. I love Wendy's.
Love
Okay.
Wendy's, love Arby's too. I think Arby's gets a bad rap.
Arby's is near the top for me as well. So look,
Arby's
we
has the
just-
best fast food buffalo chicken sandwich I've ever had.
There we go. I like it. All right. So what do we call that recipe for the cookbook? And then we'll leave that one. What do you call that, Funkhauser?
We always call them pizza burgers.
Okay. Funkhauser's pizza burgers. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So moving on. Oh, by the way, I think I heard you touch on it. What you said chitlins. What's chitlins?
Chitlins is like it's like cut up intestine, I believe.
Okay, no, that's not what I was thinking then.
Let me do a
I
quick
think it's
Google
like a
search.
neck or something.
No.
So something that I've picked up living down in the South here, like, I still like potato chips. I still like whatever, but like my new snack is pork rinds. Have you guys ever eaten pork rinds?
I've dabbled in the pork rinds.
Yeah, I have. Sometimes if I'm like eating low carb, I will buzz
Yeah.
those up and use them to make like chicken tenders or like
Ooh.
breading on fried stuff,
Yeah.
which is really good. By themselves, they're okay. I'm sure you get like real good ones down there. We just get like the bagged ones that,
Yeah, you can get like I don't know. I don't know if people like salt and vinegar, but like I love salt and vinegar pork rinds and like barbecue
Yeah.
pork rinds. It's just like
I've gotten
chips
like
kinda.
I had barbecue that were pretty good.
Yeah.
I never
If
had
you
a
go to
salt
like
and
a
vinegar.
good like barbecue restaurant or like just like Southern food, you can get fresh ones made. They'll like bring them out of the deep fryer hot for you, and those are great. But just like the ones out of the bag, I can go to Walmart and get like, they're okay.
Right.
So,
And I looked it up. Chitlins are the small intestine of mostly pigs.
So why you eating that? Why are you eating chitlins?
People. I'm not eating chitlins.
Why do anyone eat chitlins? Why are you eating intestines?
People eat them. People eat every part of the animal. It's a nose to tail thing. Like it's been happening for thousands of years. You know, boss man. It's not a new thing.
So what is the human like? If it like what am I trying to say here? So like what you know how like cows eat grass and so like what's a human supposed to eat? What does a human's body function the best on when it eats blank? Like what are we supposed to eat?
That's a good question. I've experimented that over the years. I know Jerry has as well, with like some carnivore diets, some low carbs and stuff like that. I even ate vegan for like close to a year, and it was a horrible experience. But I think I'm a firm believer that everybody's different. Some people can, thrive on different kinds of diets, but you got to know what works for you. For me, it's mostly meat and fruit, and some vegetables.
You know how they used to teach us the food pyramid? Like, didn't they get away from the food pyramid?
Yeah,
I don't know if it's around at all anymore.
yeah, it's different
Think of
now.
the
Like
past.
if you Google like 2022 FDA food guidelines or something, it's probably like a completely different shape. Let me do that right now.
And
I
Party
mean,
Jerry,
I'm
don't
no
you
like
worry.
physical
We're
specimen, but you just got to know what works for you.
we're baby friendly
Yeah.
around here too, so don't you worry about that over there. While you're looking at that, Funkhauser, here's another little thing I'd written down. I was thinking about this, and again, these things are out there, but they're also very easy. When I get my Spotify channel up and going, I'm gonna put a LUDE playlist, and like this is a playlist for songs that like if you hear this song at a bar, you can't help but move a part of your body. And the song that made me think of it was I heard it come on the radio, and I thought like if I was sitting at I did it in my house, so there's no way that if I'm at a bar, I don't start doing a little this that Intergalactic by Beastie Boys. And
Oh yeah, that's a good one. I figured you were gonna go with your old theme song, "Africa" by Toto.
That will 1000% be on there because that is one of the greatest songs of all time.
That one gets me pretty fired up too. I like that one. Yeah, it's a great one.
I think we went on me, Jerry, Dirty Mike, who else was this? Glock and Tyler Ward went on. We rented a pontoon boat up at fishing camp like end of July, and we listened to a lot of yacht rock up there, and Toto was featured on the playlist.
That's funny. So Jerry, do you still do anything with music?
Not really. No. I mean, I mess around every now and then, but nothing serious.
I don't know where I saw it, but I thought somebody said something about you making do you like make beats on the keyboard or something?
Makes jingles. He makes a lot of jingles.
Yeah, if you need a jingle, I can hook you up,
Well, no,
Brock, have you heard the Napoli's jingle? Oh man.
Can you do it live for us here, Jerry? Can you do it live?
Probably could. That'd be tough. I'd have to try and remember even how to play it.
Well, I'm going to go down a little rabbit hole, and then when we come back, let's see if maybe you can give us a little Napoli's jingle. I
don't know if we ever recorded.
So I'm trying to get Elementary to get me I was using his song in the beginning, but then YouTube came to find out the instrumental was not his, so they took it down. So now I want to get his lyrics on here, but I need him to get me some sort of instrumental to put behind it because it was a good intro. But yeah,
so for the living room champs, Len hooked up everybody with Chris Clack. So Clack's been on the show a few times, and he's been writing intro songs. And for the Funkhouse, we've definitely been biting off "We Want the Funk," so that's like the theme song now.
Yeah.
But if we were ever to go to YouTube, that'd get pulled immediately. So we would definitely have to come up with a different theme song.
No, it wouldn't because you changed it. Funky. Oh, that's right. Well, no, if you like changed the instrumental though,
Yeah, we didn't do that.
Okay. Yeah.
We just said the word house after funk. That was it.
Yeah. We changed it.
Yeah, they pulled it. Yeah. They pulled it down pretty quick, so I had to remove it until we get something else on there.
Yeah.
You guys, You had the
It's quite a
vid.
cough there,
You had the
Rock.
19. Yeah, not tested, but it might be the vid. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
You
no.
had it yet?
I've never been tested. Can't say I haven't, but I've never been tested.
You've never been tested for real?
I know when to quarantine. If I start feeling sick, I quarantine myself.
That's pretty funny that we're, teetering on. We're well over halfway through 2022 and you've never been tested for COVID.
Well, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but like the South is much different than the North.
Oh,
I've heard that.
So like,
I've heard that.
Like what you guys see as normal, I would come up there and think it's absolutely crazy. Because down here, I remember the first day that they lifted the restrictions and everything. It was like probably a month or two after the initial thing. Have you guys ever been to Buc-ee's? G Baby's sponsor. Have you ever been to Buc-ee's?
No, but I've heard a lot about it.
Yeah, it's like the gigantic Costco
Gas
type
station.
place, right?
It's like a gas station,
great.
but they make like brisket and like crazy.
Yeah, of all
meats
kinds
and
of shit.
Yeah.
They're like, they have them in like
He
Texas.
compared it,
stuff, right?
Yeah.
He compared it to a love child of Walmart and Sheets or something. Makes a lot of sense when you look at it that way.
Yeah.
I would hope the food's better, but
It is. Well, rabbit hole there, but
that's a good sponsor, Alec.
But yeah, so I went in there the first day during the quarantine lift, and it was just jam-packed full of people with no shirts, no shoes, like nothing ever happened. It was
Breathing
the
on
craziest
each other.
goddamn. I walked in and I like was going to do something like, you know what? I'm like, I'm not doing this right now. I don't feel safe in this place. Like this is a little too wild. I saw like 20 people without shoes on. I'm like,
Oh god.
like they're taking it a little too far here. Oh
Unreal.
gosh, yeah. A little
No
north
shirts,
versus
no shoes.
also the north versus south. Oh my god, I shouldn't do this one, but I have to tell you this because this is something
Do
that
it.
I did write down in the think tank. So, my kids are in school, and you remember how like in high school, like we had like groups of friends and groups of people, like, and you could always tell like who was like the sports people, who was the smart people, who was the band people. Here we have all those groups, but they all look the same. It's the weirdest thing ever.
It's like that scene in 21 Jump Street when they're going back to school and they're like, okay, so like those are the jocks, and then they look at like, I don't even know what, and they're like, I don't know what.
Yeah, it's like they have all the groups, but everybody looks the same. So it's like, man, you could be anything here and you look normal. I mean, you could be anything. 8th grader now, so he's getting up there.
Yeah, that's wild.
Real close.
Do you remember what we used to do in 8th grade? Like now I look at him like I don't think he's ready. I
never really partied or anything until I was
like, well, I guess I take that
so.
back. I don't think any of us were that wild in 8th grade, but I remember others in 8th grade. And I remember like thinking about the things I knew they did in 8th grade. I didn't necessarily do it, but I knew they did,
No, I was a late bloomer, but I'm pretty sure I was still like riding bikes in 8th grade.
You a BMXer?
Oh yeah, I had a mosh. I had a real nice mosh.
You have the pegs?
I had some pegs, yeah.
Did you put the pegs on both sides, or do you have pegs on one side?
Just on the back, actually.
Okay, all right.
On both sides of the back.
One of those guys.
Just so you can have a passenger, not like I was fucking grinding rails or anything.
Yeah, like the guys that used to ride on the side, like one on the front, one on the back, on the pegs on like the left side.
I was a mountain biker.
Okay.
It
takes a lot of endurance.
Yeah. I still have a real nice
mountain bike and going off in the woods, riding on trails.
Yeah.
You still do it?
No, I want to get back into it, but
yeah, I know a lot of people. It looks fun, but what worries me is you get out there in the middle of the woods and you get stuck. I mean, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
I got back into it. I got back into it for like a summer. Like I think I was still in grad school at the time, and it was fun. It's a great workout.
Yeah.
Well, so I was saying, you get stuck out there, and I just realized a hilarious story that I'm going to share with you guys. So I was golfing. I don't golf very often, but like I was one day, I just like, you know what? I want to go golf by myself. So I went golfing by myself. I got a cart, whatever. I'm golfing, and I hit a ball in the woods. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go try to find the goddamn golf ball. I might find some other ones while I'm in there. I like hunting for golf balls. So I'm in there, and I like I find a golf ball like down in a little thing, and I lean over to try to grab it, and I'm bracing myself on a tree, and all of a sudden the tree gives out, and I go down, and I land right on top of the thing. I thought it went through me, and for a second, I'm like thinking to myself, I'm like, nobody's gonna find me. Oh my god! And I looked, and I was bleeding, but it like didn't go into me or anything. I was like, oh my god! So I got up, I called my wife. I'm like, babe, I almost died. She's like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? I'm like, I'm on the golf course. Yeah, how'd you almost die? I'm like, well, a tree almost went through me. I was like,
wow,
holy
that's
shit.
scary.
Yeah.
Being impaled with something's like a bad way to go out.
Yeah.
While we're telling stories, do you have any other embarrassing stories? Because I've got another one for you.
Embarrassing. Have you ever like shit your pants as an adult?
Yeah, I have. So I
have a couple
So
times.
what? Tell me the worst of the worst, like the one that just got you. Like, man, I really got to change my life.
Let me break this one down. You ever go to Penn Station East Coast Subs?
No.
What's that?
Delicious. I mean, great.
Okay.
It's a sub shop, hoagies and
okay,
shit. So,
Jerry, there's a potential sponsor for Party Jerry right there.
They're delicious. Great, like boardwalk fries, like fresh cut fries. But I was living in Highland Park at the time, and used to go there all the time. It was right down the road in like Shady Side. So I was unbelievably hungover, like to where you're crippled the one day. And I don't even know where I was like the day before, but it was so bad. And I was like sick. It was like 4 p.m. Go ahead.
I'm seeing like a Timbo like thing right now. I can see Tim walking down the street. That's what I'm picturing. Is that about right?
Yeah, this is definitely like when we were in the mall in Buffalo after we were in Niagara Falls.
Yeah.
And Tim was sitting there and we were all watching him eat Chinese food. Like that's how hungover I was. So I'm like laying in bed just like a mutant, and it's like 3 or 4 p.m. Couldn't eat anything yet. I was like, I want to get a sandwich. Like I gotta go pick it up though. So I go and I'm like, am I gonna make it? Am I gonna make it? And I'm like, yeah, I'll be all right. So I order it, and then I get there, and they're kind of like Five Guys, to where when you order, they'll have your burger ready, but they're gonna drop the fries as soon as you get there, so they're hot, which is nice.
Yeah,
but you have to sit there. You might as well just order all your food there. It's kind of annoying, but your fries are hot and fresh, I guess. So there's your trade-off. But there's a lot of people in this sub shop, and I'm like, okay. I start getting the watery mouth, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, like this is getting bad. So I'm like, all right, I gotta go to the bathroom. And the bathroom's like a one guy for men and women. It's like a unisex one room. You lock the door.
Those are tough to navigate.
So you lock the door and you're in there, and everybody, if they gotta go, like they're gonna wait on you because there's one place to go. So I'm in there and I'm like, I'm gonna puke for sure. So I get over the toilet and I puke. And you ever get sick to where when you puke, you just shit yourself?
I understand how that could happen, but that's, I mean,
so
I hate puking in public.
Pushing everything out of your body. So I shit. Oh, it was horrible. And I puked. So, I barely made it to the toilet to puke. So I bailed on my underwear there for sure. So I took my gym shorts off, cleaned myself, cleaned up the area on the toilet where I threw up, and bailed, threw my underwear in the garbage, put my gym shorts back on, commando.
The underwear in the garbage.
Out of there. I got out of there, and I just like, my sandwich was done on the counter. If it wouldn't have been done, I would have left without it.
The underwear in the garbage is like a classic thing, because I remember at the junkyard, like, I had to clean the bathrooms and shit. And I remember I went into like the women's bathroom and there was underwear in the garbage. I was so freaking disgusted. I was like, what the hell happened?
And you get grossed out easily. Of all the people that I know, you get grossed out the easiest.
I'm very weak stomach. Very weak stomach.
I remember we went to Peking and you found like a hair in your dinner. And they're like, let me bring you something else. And you're like, no, I don't want anything.
Mugu Gai Pan. Never again. Never again Mugu Gai Pan.
I love Peking too. It was delicious.
Yeah, a lot of cats at that place. A lot of cats.
They were tasty.
There was a couple times where the one time I can't remember where I ate. I ate somewhere. It was either Taco Bell or Chinese. And before getting home, it hits me. I'm in trouble.
It's that quick?
it's bad, you know. And I remember just as I pull in, I lost the control.
Yeah.
And fucking
Fighting
just
for your
laughed.
life.
Yeah. And the other time was I was real sick and I was sitting on the
Yeah,
couch.
you'll get that. Those are tough. You can't. There's nothing
I
you can
had
do.
like the flu or something, and I was sitting there and I sneezed. And when I sneezed, I just
Yep.
fucking shat myself. I remember just sitting there so miserable, like,
Yep.
oh my God.
So I mean, don't get me wrong. There's been accidents, but nothing like memorable. But I remember one that I thought was an accident that wasn't. So
Oh boy.
you remember
Phantom.
do you remember that Mexican restaurant that was out past the Friendlies?
Yes.
I don't know if it's still there or not.
Isabella's.
Tacomba's.
Maybe the one in the same. Yeah.
It was called Tacomba's first, but yeah, it was Isabella's after.
Did you happen to be there the night I got punched by a kid and nothing came from it? He just punched me. I'm like, what the hell?
I feel like that could
you
have
weren't
happened multiple times.
Well,
Yeah, I can't remember. I may have been, but all that time it's pretty foggy.
May or may not have.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I don't think you were because I think it was the one they call the Mac Daddy. And it was my first time ever drinking Fireball. So needless to say, it wasn't a good night. So I remember I got punched in the face by a kid and I started a big ruckus. And then I left with some people and they took me home. My wife was home. We had kids there. And I got in the shower. And she comes in to find me in the shower, 20, 30 minutes later, and I'm on the ground crying, my eyes out in the shower. And she's like, what's going on? What happened?
Oh, that would be great.
And I'm sitting there crying. I'm like, I shit my pants. I shit my pants.
So you got punched and shit yourself?
Well, I didn't shit myself. I just thought I did. So I was sitting there crying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was just sitting there crying, thinking I shit my pants. And then she shut the water off, told me to get out of the shower. She came back 20 minutes later. I'm still crying. She wants to know what I'm crying about this time. I was shivering. I'm so cold. I'm so cold. And I shit my pants. See, I don't really dabble in the Fireball too much anymore.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I had Fireball was at one of the Kenny Chesney concerts, and we were tailgating.
I remember the P River at Kenny Chesney.
Oh yeah, that was not good.
Oh man. So I was trying to write down. Oh, you know what?
Bit about us doing it.
I mean, before we go, I'm going to wrap it up here shortly. We talked about a lot of things, a lot of nothingness, but that's the point of the show, Before we go, I'm looking for. Well, I guess I got 2 more questions, and then I'll finalize it with the question to ponder. Okay. So first, hold on, let me see what that was. Okay. So like I said, I want to interview people on here. I know that we're not going to be able to be like, I want to interview Bill Gates or whatever. But like, is there a type of person or a profession or something like conspiracy interest? What type of person would you want to be on the show? And if they came on, maybe I'd have you on to help interview them.
Oh, that's a good question.
I gave you like the kind of rundown of what's in the works. So this is anybody, anywhere, anything. Like we were all over the map there. So this could be anything.
I don't know. I think the best thing that you could get out of this is just like really funny stories.
Yeah.
So the sky's the limit on that. You know what I mean? Like you could get that from anybody though. I don't know if I don't know if there's a certain type of person you want on here. I think variety might be the spice of life. And
exactly.
Yeah. You want somebody that you like to talk to.
Exactly. And the whole thing is once we garner like an audience, like people could reach out and be like, hey, I want to be on the show, and we can bring them on here. We could start asking them about this, that, and the other. And then it just turns into what the hell just happened? What the hell was that?
Right.
Oh yeah. It don't take long to go off the deep end.
All right. I need something to watch on TV or a movie. Is there anything that you guys have kind of just finished or started that is something we should look into?
Last Sunday, the new Game of Thrones prequel started, House of the Dragon. So that was an outstanding pilot. So I'm really looking forward to that. I don't know if that's your type of thing. I know Jerry's not a fan, but plenty of people out there are.
Well, if you remember
broke a bunch of
correctly,
records I seen, like the premiere was huge.
Yeah,
it did. It actually, that subject was brought up in one of the episodes with Mr. LUDE Jr. when Mr. LUDE Jr. We found out here live on the air that Mr. LUDE Jr. is a bird conspiracist.
Oh yeah.
Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
So, have you ever seen
They're
a
not
baby
real.
pigeon? Have you ever seen a baby pigeon?
No. I think they're
Jerry?
robots.
I don't think I've ever seen a baby pigeon.
And that was his main point. None of us had seen one. You guys haven't seen one. I need a little more explanation because he wouldn't actually come out and say it.
I mean, it's
But
funny. I've seen other baby birds.
I tried to argue that as well, but he was stuck on the pigeons.
Pigeons are the ones I get it. Like, I don't even know if I've ever seen like a nest of them. So like, where are they hanging out? You just see them eating French fries.
Do we possibly have another conspiracist here?
I don't believe in many conspiracies, but I love talking about them.
Yeah, me too.
That's really what I want to get this on.
The only conspiracy that I truly believe in is that, not to get like political or anything, is that COVID was released as a population control in China. I'm like extremely certain of that.
Wow, bold statement.
Yeah.
We really need to get some experts on here. We need to get some experts on here to answer the questions that matter.
Comb through the data.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, this network, it could turn into an investigative documentary
we could
style.
be figuring all this stuff out.
You need to get Davey Bukkake on here.
He's one of those guys, not to talk badly about anyone, but you keep inviting a guy and he keeps giving you dates and then he keeps pushing the dates. It's like, sir, what's going on? What's going on?
He's a busybody.
I'll tell you who else was going to come on here with that gentleman was a ginger that we know that really has a lot of stories, and we would love to hear those stories.
I don't want to hear any of his stories.
I'll tell you what, he's got some stories. He almost had a private jet to my bachelor party. I'll tell you.
Yeah. Forgot about that.
How many of these stories are true?
I'd love to get a percentage from him. I'd love to hear him say none of them are false. They're all true. I would love to hear that story.
Yeah.
The biggest bullshitter I've ever met in my life.
And again, only one person can come on here and lay it out and tell us the true story. And it's him.
That's right. You got to go right straight to the source.
All right. Well, gentlemen, before we end the show, one more time, tell us about your show and tell us, right now we got 100 people watched our videos, but hopefully one day it's a lot more than that. Tell us and them where they can find you at.
And start us off, Jerry.
Is the Funkhauser explained earlier? We're you can anywhere where podcasts are available. The Living Room Champs podcast. Our show is called the Fantasy Funkhouse. We bring you everything you need in the fantasy world. Bring a little fun to it. We give you rankings. We've had some mocks. It's a lot of fun.
And we're not like your typical fantasy show. We don't cater to a G-rated, PG-rated audience like most of them do to be family friendly. It's not really what we're worried about. I know a lot of the shows do that to try to get, more people to listen and
right.
That's great, good for them. But we're just about having a good time talking about football. Love to get some more guest stars on soon. I talked to Tim about coming on. I'm definitely going to reach out to Smelko to come on the show. You and LUDE Jr. come on as a tandem. So definitely want to get some Sankey members on there this year. We do a weekly show during the season, talk about waivers, review, big games from last year, all that kind of stuff. So it's going good. We're having a good time with it. Haven't been burnt out yet. Some of the nights you don't want to do it, but you power through it. You gotta try to get it in before waivers hit. And usually we record on Tuesdays. So Mikey can get it out on Wednesdays. So,
okay. Well, appreciate that.
And we're not trying to victory lap. That's another one. We don't, every fantasy show you listen to, you get guys, jerking themselves off about like, oh, I told you this guy was going to be really good. Like,
Yeah.
okay,
It's
the
real
first round
life.
pick. Like everybody
Real life.
everybody knew this guy was going to be good. We like to focus on the failures that we have and make fun of each other for it. That's one thing that we like to do on the show. You're not going to get that anywhere else.
Well, we look forward to a long partnership here between LUDE Presents and Living Room Champs and the Fantasy Funkhouse. So I appreciate you gentlemen joining, and we'll end it here with what I started doing a while back with one of our questions to ponder that we'll throw out there right now. We'll let you guys maybe give a quick answer. Let the audience think about it. Let it marinate for a little while, and then our next show will come out and we'll attack it. So if you had one thing that you had an endless supply of for the rest of your life, and this thing, like, you can't get sick of this. It has to be something that you're never going to get sick of. You're never going to be tired of, or you're never going to have too much of.
Is it
What's
a trick
the one
question?
thing you have for the rest of your life?
It's money.
Money?
Money.
It's got to be money. Yeah.
We both got it right.
There's no other answer.
Right?
I mean, I'd have a hard time arguing that point. I mean, I'll be honest. I was trying to think about this, and I wasn't even thinking something clearly right in front of my eyes. So I think you might be right.
You can get anything with money. You can.
Does money become a detour? Does it bring all the people flocking to you to help them out since you have all the money?
I mean, it could be. Maybe keep it quiet.
And then
depends on where this money is coming from. Am I shitting it out every day? I mean,
right.
is it written in the paper like when you win the Powerball? Like those are details.
Yeah. Well, yeah. A lot of things that can be said there, but we'll leave it to the audience to have their own thoughts.
Yeah.
And then, if the guest comes on here and they'd love to
Other
give
than
you a
money,
rebuttal.
what is it?
Other than money. And if maybe they think money is the worst thing you could have. Money could ruin a life. You ever see the Powerball or the millionaire shows that like millionaires to broke from the lottery or whatever?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It always ruins their life when they win the lottery.
I sure as hell don't know how they did that, but hey.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a humble liver. I just don't want to go to work.
Yeah.
That's the goal for all of us, I think.
Yeah.
That's why we're all here. I mean, in the end, like I said, I would love for this to work, but if it doesn't, oh well, we have fun doing it. But if it does work.
Another little piece of news just came across my desk here.
What do you got? End it with that, Funkhauser.
Sam Darnold carted off.
Ooh.
He's a bum. He wasn't starting anyway.
Good for him.
You got to feel bad for the guy. I agree, but in the end, it ain't gonna make a difference.
I don't. He got more chances than he should have.
Yeah. What were they saying about him? He was just like so vanilla or something. Like he had no personality or no control of the team or something like that.
I believe
grit.
All right, gentlemen. Well, it was a wonderful evening. Good luck.
Thanks for having us.
Oh, you're very welcome. I enjoyed it. We'll be in touch. All right.
All right, man.
We'll
see ya.
See you guys.
Hold my tongue never. I say what I feel. Look you in the eye. Never ran, never will. Hold my own destiny. Both hands in the wheel. In the darkness they found light. So at the top of your lungs scream, this ain't life. So when they move left, you move right.